Joining me now is one of the stars of UFC 319 last weekend, Eric Nolan, who fought Susurkaev on short notice. Ultimately came up short, but man, I definitely wanted to talk to you. I think a lot of people were really impressed with your performance and the heart that you showed. I guess, how are you feeling a couple of days out from the loss? I know you're probably disappointed, but kind of a crazy week for you, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Pretty crazy. I feel good. I'm healthy, a little sore, but I'm in good spirits and ready to get back to the drawing board, learn from this experience and improve, get better and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, I guess physically, how are you doing, right? Because I think the broadcast mentioned it. I think you maybe had said something to him in the cage too about your leg. I guess was there any serious damage there, or kind of what happened with that?
Now, he one of the leg kicks like hit the top of my knee and it like I've never felt anything like it before. It just like I guess hit a nerve or something and shut it down for a second, but then after a couple of minutes walking on it again, it it went away. I got the motion feeling back.
I'm happy to hear that. This was kind of I'm sure, like for us on the outside, we watch the UFC every week, and we kind of have a protocol of how things work. And I feel like that protocol was broken a little bit last week, where a fight was booked on 4 days' notice, and I'm sure your week was pretty crazy. But you were both kind of thrown into this fold. You're at the press conference, and we didn't even really get to learn much about you, which I'm going to get into here in a second. But like for you, I guess, how did your week play out last week, where all of a sudden you're in Chicago and fighting on the UFC 319 feature prelim there?
Yeah, I mean, I got the call Wednesday around like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock that like I got the fight. It's official, and I'm flying out Wednesday night, and I had to do like some medical stuff in Jersey, so I had to go get an MRI, and that's like super hard to find a place to do that last minute. Got that done. Had like 10 minutes to pack my bags, and then I was in a car on the way to the airport. Flight got delayed, of course. I landed at like 2 o'clock in the morning, I want to say. And then the airport lost my bag. So it wasn't going to arrive until 6 a.m. the next morning. So I didn't
Damn.
have my bag. I didn't have my bag. So I'm like, well, this is a great start. And then I was doing media stuff. I didn't get to go to bed until like 2:30, 3 in the morning. And then the next day, I had to wake up at 7:30, drive to Indiana to do an eye exam, and it was just a lot. It was a lot, but it was really cool. It was a really cool experience, just being there, and I was mentally checked into the fight. Like as soon as I got that, hey, you're fighting this kid. Did a quick film study. It's like, all right, watch the kicks, get in this kid's face, and just make it a fight.
Yeah, and had you happened to watch the Contender series like that night, the night prior, or was this kind of a new name for you?
Yeah, I watched it. It was a new name for me. I didn't
Yeah.
see his fight. I didn't see his fight. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's
um,
crazy. And then all of a sudden, like you're at the press conference too, right? Like you're just having to like, and there was a
yeah,
rowdy one. Like sometimes
I,
these
I
UFC
had no
press
idea.
conferences, yeah. So you're just all of a sudden zapped essentially in the middle of this like kind of crazy scenario. But I thought you handled it pretty well. Like you had a good one-liner up there about about him and Chimaev. So you seem to really be somebody that was not necessarily rattled by this moment. Losing your bag, getting a call in 4 days' notice, getting thrown into a crazy bananas press conference. I guess internally, were you pretty level headed about this whole thing, or was it kind of a lot to take?
I mean, it was everything I expected it to be,
Yeah.
and a little more some like in a good way. Like I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome. And I'm happy that he was the way he was at the press conference, and from the moment I arrived there, like I knew I had a game opponent, and I knew I love that shit. He wanted to talk a little shit. I mean, I'm from Jersey. We could talk shit over here, so I enjoyed that shit.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a really fun fight too. Were you bothered at all by like the amount of attention he was getting? Like, I don't think we've talked about it on staff and on Twitter and stuff, but like, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody like get that much hype that quickly. Like it was like nobody even knew who he was on Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday, they're kind of rolling out the red carpet. So as the guy that was booked against him, did it bug you at all that there wasn't enough talk about you?
Oh no, I mean, listen, he proved himself on Contender Series, and that's the benefit about fighting on Contender Series. You get a lot more people that know about you and are excited for your next fight. And I was the new guy, and I've been the new guy before. You got to earn that. You got to earn that right to have to get treated the way he got treated, and it didn't bother me at all. I know I have a really cool story, and I know that when people look up, hey, who's this kid fighting, and they look a little more into me, they're gonna be like, all right, he actually has a pretty cool story himself.
Yeah, and let's talk about it a little bit, man. I know they referenced it on the broadcast. You were in the Marines, right? Kind of, what was your path to becoming a professional fighter? Like, how did we end up here?
Yeah, right after high school, I joined the Marine Corps, and simply put, on the weekends down at the base in Camp Lejeune, on Saturdays, big UFC cards, like a bunch of Marines go to the Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever bar they could get into and watch the fights. And I remember watching the fights, and I'm like, dude, I could do that shit. Like, this is what I really wanted to do. And I started except obviously my Marine Corps career I put first. I was an infantry Marine, so I took that very seriously and had a bunch of great experiences and memories in the Marine Corps. I loved every single second of it. And I was fortunate enough to my last year in the Marine Corps, I got sent to Quantico, Virginia to be an instructor for like officers.
Mm.
And I was sent to the Martial Arts Center of Excellence, is what they call it in Quantico. And there was a there was an instructor there by the name of Dylan Mueller, and he actually fought like MMA before he joined the Marine Corps. And I told him I was like, hey, I want to fight. And I hit up a promoter one day, had a couple beers before I hit him up. So I was like, yo, I'm 185. I was like, this is my weight. I'll fight anybody. I don't care. And all I was doing was hitting a heavy bag, running, swimming, and rolling around with Marines. And took the fight, won the fight, and the rest is history.
It's incredible, man. Obviously, a pretty cool, some liquid confidence that went a long way right there, right? And you've obviously killed it, and you've built a great resume for yourself. I think for people that haven't seen your pre UFC fights, you have one of the more aesthetically pleasing like knockout highlight reels I've seen. Some of the one punch knockouts and whatnot. Taking the fight up a weight class, was that any sort of issue? I know you said to him in the cage, they picked it up on the mic, like, you're too big for me, I'm going back down, or something like that. So you're a 170er, right? We're going to see you go back down there for your next fight.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I listen mentally, like getting ready for the fight and stuff like that, like in the back room and stuff. Like, no, that it didn't phase me. I had a bulletproof mind going into this fight. I was like, it really didn't phase me. But then I started to feel it in the fight, like after he went for his takedowns, and I was like, damn, all right, like I'm not used to guys being able to hold me down this well.
Yeah, and we talked about your confidence at the press conference, but obviously it shined through too in the fight. Like you went out there that first round, you were tagging him, you had him rock badly at the end of the first. I guess kind of what was going through your mind in that moment, and ultimately, I guess how have you processed maybe what went wrong in that second round?
Um, I'm sorry, you kind of broke up a little bit.
No, I just was saying you had that moment at the end of the first round, right, where you rocked him. He was on roller skates. I guess kind of what was going through your head as that happened.
I mean, I was fired up. It was everything I thought I was going to do to the kid. I thought I was going to go out there and knock him out. Like I truly believed it. Um, his style is like tailor made for me to have a striking battle with, and I knew that when you press forward on him and you start throwing punches on him, he does this cover up. And, I got a little too excited sometimes, and I didn't really set a lot of I didn't really set up a lot of my strikes, and I didn't take advantage of when he actually covered up. But I rocked him in the end of the first round, and after that, especially right after the bell rang, I knew I had him hurt. I was like, all right, this second round, I'm putting him out. But he adapted. He started shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, and man, for somebody, for that to be your debut, big moment, big spot, and have it not go your way, I felt like your stock in the general public's eyes went up quite a bit. Like there was a lot of tweets that were very positive about you. I think you gained a lot of fans. Did you? I'm assuming when you went back in the locker room, you checked your phone. Was that apparent to you that you had won a lot of people over?
Yeah, I mean the support was actually incredible. It's nothing like I've ever had them before in my life. The amount of positive messages, and I was expecting a lot of shit talkers, but I really couldn't find it. I was looking for the shit talkers. I wanted a good laugh. I like that stuff. So, um, but no, the support was incredible. And obviously, I was at the time I was disappointed with the results, so I just kind of put my phone down and try to answer like my friends and family first. But dude, it was a crazy experience.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, I think a lot of people are excited to see your next fight, whenever that is. And one of those people, I think, Dana White. He had a lot of nice things to say about you as well at the post fight presser. Was that pretty cool to kind of hear him talk about you?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy because literally the weekend before this, I was working at a bar as a bouncer at a bar called DJ's in New Jersey. It's like a super popular bar. And I was watching the UFC fights, and every time I watch them, I'm just like, damn, it's Dana White, it's Joe Rogan, it's Bruce Buffer. Like one day this is gonna be me, and then 3 days later, I get a phone call like, "Hey, you're going to be fighting in UFC 319 in Chicago." So, and to see all those people firsthand, like, I actually couldn't process it because I was just like I was really locked in for the fight. Like, I knew I had to prove myself, so I didn't really get to enjoy like, holy shit, it's fucking Dana White. Like, holy shit, it's Bruce Buffer and Joe Rogan. Like, I couldn't enjoy it as much as I probably should have, but that's just my mentality. Like I'm there for business, and but it was really cool to hear him say that he wanted to keep me, and I'm here to stay.
Yeah, are you still bouncing? Is that like an active? I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
but I'm probably not gonna be anymore.
yeah. Things have pivoted. Um, how did you like the bouncing job? Was it fun or was it stressful?
No, I mean
Yeah,
the community at that bar is like unlike anything you'll ever. It's I can't even describe it. Like it's like a community in there, and everybody's so cool, so nice. The
yeah,
workers, the staff. Occasionally, I'd have to kick out some drunk people, but
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, just you get to practice your skills a little bit more for when you step in the
yeah,
the cage, right? So, were you like, because we had your last fight was in May, right? Were you kind of in shape at all? Like, were you training, or were you kind of, I don't want to say rolling off the couch. I'm sure you're pretty active, but I guess where were you? Where did you feel like you were in terms of your physical fitness for this fight?
um, I wasn't in my best shape. Uh, clear as day. I don't really get tired like that ever in a fight. I was training. I was still training like twice a day, but I wasn't like pushing the cardio. I was more focused on skill development at that time when I did get the fight. Um, but that's part of the game, and you got to. It's a lesson learned for me. Like you got to be ready at any time to take a fight like this. So it was a lesson learned for me. But I didn't go into the fight like, oh my god, I'm gonna be out of shape. I went into the fight like, all right, let's beat this guy.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think a lot of people are excited to see you fight again. I guess when do you hope to fight again? By the end of the year? Are we looking at, like, I don't know how many bumps and bruises or whatever you gotta heal up, but in an ideal scenario, when would you like to return?
End of the year. But before the end of the year, I plan on being a very active UFC fighter. It's I was pretty active as a regional scene fighter. You know, it's something that it was camp. Like, learn a little bit from I get better and better every fight I have. Like, it's if you watch my first fight to my last fight in CFFC, I've been with them since I started my pro career. I get better every single time. So
Yeah, I think you fought like 4 times in the last 10 months, right? Something like that. So somebody that I'm sure that the UFC will like to have. I guess is there any? It's pretty tough, right? You're kind of the new guy on campus, but is there anybody you would like to fight? Any matchups that excite you?
I haven't thought that far yet. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. Give me a couple days and I'll give you an answer.
Okay, that sounds good. Anything else you'd like to people to know about you? I know you said you got a pretty interesting story, and obviously, impromptu texting somebody to get your MMA career started is pretty cool. But anything else you'd like the world to know that maybe we didn't get to cover you about last week because you were kind of just thrown into the mix?
I mean, I emphasize this, but I am before I was a fighter, I was a United States Marine. It's something I'm very proud about, and something that I try to tell everybody that's it doesn't matter what branch of service you're in, Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. If you have a goal, I know what it's like to be active duty and be away from home and thinking about your future. Like, what am I going to do? I've been there, and you follow your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you that that's not attainable. It's not possible because look, I did it.
Yeah, and now you have the platform to kind of spread that message even more and represent the Marines. You did obviously a great job in the cage. You've done a great job representing them outside the cage. It sounds like as well. And Eric, really appreciate the time, man. Like I said, I think it's not often that somebody gets thrown into a situation like that and is able to really capitalize on the moment. You gained a lot of fans, so appreciate you taking the time out a few days after the fight to talk to us.
No, I appreciate you guys, and I mean, I'm used to watching MMA junkie videos on my phone. Now I'm in one, so it's pretty
You
cool.
are. Yep, it's come to real life. But good luck with everything. Heal up. And I know myself, a lot of others will be excited to see you back, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.